Hi, welcome back to the channel. So I'm sad today, when am I not? So I thought I would try to cheer myself and maybe you, if you're having the same problems as me today, with more reacting to deaf memes. I've done a video on this in the past, y'all seem to like it, and there's a couple more that I've seen that I just want to do a little reaction to, especially one in particular. And we're gonna go back to deafmemes.exe, which I promoted the Twitter for, but as it turns out, they have a whole whopping Instagram account. So I'm going to put that down below. Also, consider following me on Instagram if you haven't yet. If you like these videos, be sure to subscribe for more. Hit that notification bell. And if you would like to support the work that I do have a Patreon page and also channel membership, which you can find down below. Alright, let's get going. Hearing people, it's not nice to point at someone. My deaf ass points at someone out of curiosity. Yeah, so the whole pointing at someone is definitely a big no-no in the hearing world. I grew up in the hearing world, and every time I point, somebody's got something to say and they're like, don't do that, don't do that. But yeah, when you point at something, it's part of the whole ASL thing. It's part of sign language in general, right? You identify something, you gotta point at it. It's part of the grammar, it's part of the language, so you kind of just gotta point. ASL instructor Jack Volpe tells us that when using sign language, being direct is necessary, not rude. Deaf individuals tend to point, and how they point identifies something. So you see that man over there? Oh yeah! Then you know who's being talked about. If you just use facial expressions, it's impossible to know who you're talking about. It is what it is. It's not meant to be rude, it's just how we're supposed to know who you're talking about. Me, interpreted voice, excuse me, you don't have to say, tell him every time you talk to me. My signing impaired doctor. And there's a little gif of this man looking incredibly confused. Yeah, I've had people say from time to time when I have an interpreter around, or when I have a captioner, or even when I was using TTY to talk to people, make appointments and stuff, they would always say, tell her, tell her, tell her. I've even had to tell him from time to time. And it's like, you're talking to me, like, yeah, we have somebody with us to interpret or whatever, but you're talking to me. I am your client or your customer or your patient, whatever. Like, talk to me. Look at us and address us personally, as you should. How my hearing cousin tells me what we are gonna have for dinner, and there's a gif of Will Smith from Suicide Squad signing this or this, and what non-signing people would think of is pizza, because it does look like a slice of pizza. What it would actually mean is vagina. So I understand that hearing people would probably use that sign if they couldn't figure it out. Actually, it would be signed more like this, wouldn't it? Well, YouTube can't demonetize me for this because they don't know what the heck I'm saying, so this is hilarious. But either way, even though it's very obvious that we would probably get what a non-signer is trying to say if they're trying to gesture pizza to us, but can't help but think that this is actually funny. I once had a friend who got out of a speeding ticket because the cop was trying to sign to him license, so he would give him his license, but he ended up signing like this, and my friend was laughing, and the cop was like, why are you laughing at me? What's going on? And once the cop found out what he was actually signing, he let him go. And that's the story about how someone got out of a speeding ticket. When a signing impaired person reads my note carefully, be like, and there's a gif of somebody putting on like reading glasses. This is why I use big, because big starts out big and then goes small. I hate using notes for things, like, unless it's for me personally, no. Waiting for the interpreter to show up before a meeting. Me trying to figure out where I am supposed to look at. Me at YouTube events. Yep, when we're all in the green room, especially if I'm at a panel. It's one thing when I'm at a workshop, because then or when I have a workshop, because then I'm by myself. So I'm not really expecting anyone to come to my table and wait with me. But when there would be a panel at VidCon or Playlist, and it would be one of those panels where it was all like hearing people and non-disabled people. Actually, that was really at Playlist. So everybody's talking and whatever, and I just kind of sit there awkwardly because I'm waiting for the interpreter, or before I even had interpreters and it was only captions. The captions would not be available to me until we were actually on the panel, because all the equipment would be on the panel table. So that was incredibly awkward. So thankfully when I was able to get interpreters when I felt comfortable, it was less awkward that way. I love this one. What is an extreme sport? Waiting to see if the captions appear at the very beginning of a movie after a series of commercials and trailers without captions. And there's a photo of a couple with the caption glasses and they're looking. This is so true. I hate those devices. I hate the caption glasses even more, but the captive view things, I've done a video on this, I'll link it up if I find it. They make great weapons if somebody annoys you so you can slap them. I've never actually done that, and I probably would be too chicken to, but you know, the thought is there, the action is there. But you know, the trailers start and everybody's enjoying the trailers and you're just kind of sitting there like, so do I get the captions? Like, and I don't know what it is. For some trailers you have the captions and then for some you don't. So it's really just a nice, fun, I say that sarcastically, game to play while you're there. Every signing impaired person be like, hey, I know ASL. In reality, sloppy fingerspelling learned in 7th grade. Okay, so this is not to knock anyone that's learning ASL and trying, okay? That's not the problem. The problem is when somebody is really acting like they really know ASL, okay, and then they just start fingerspelling everything, and especially slowly, and it's so time consuming and hard to read and It's like, just say you only know the alphabet and you're not really that great at it. It's fine. But you don't know ASL when you can only do the alphabet. Dinner table syndrome is when you are finished eating before everyone else. Empty plates, empty coffee. Yep. Yeah, just sit there eating and you could probably get through 3 plates. And it's only 15 minutes because you have to distract yourself, and what better way to do that than just eating? And this is why I really stopped wanting to go to any events, holiday dinners, at any relationship. My hearing parent ordering food for me, and then there's me, quote quote, with a shorter guy, basically acting as a child looking up. Oh, this does not happen so much anymore. I order myself. When I was a child, yeah, I would have somebody order for me, half because I was a child, so I was shy, and also because, like, if anybody were to ask me questions, I'd just be so confused. The downside, though, if I'm out with my dad and we get food, or with anyone, rather, I'll say my order out loud, and then they respond back to me, and I suddenly look back over to my dad or whoever I'm with, and I'm like, can you continue? Because I'm like, oh. But I'm also afraid to, like, I don't know if it's just me, and it's probably silly that I feel like this, because why I feel silly about it. But it's never established at the very beginning that I'm deaf, so like I'm talking, or like if I have the order written down on my phone and I show them, or a point, gesture, whatever, and then I'll be talking to the hearing person out loud, so they come over and all of a sudden be like, wait, so you're talking or whatever, and I get so confused. So then I'll try to order the simplest thing possible so I don't have to make any, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Adjustments to my order. Right? Oh, completely relatable right now. When a mask signing impaired person keeps talking to you after finding out you're deaf, and that person with a mask on muffled screams internally. Yep, that keeps happening. Everywhere I go, I tell them, you know, I have it written down or whatever, and they'll just be talking, and I'm like, are we for real right now? Like, come on. Like, why are we doing this? It's actually happened recently when I was picking up food, and I messaged them on Facebook after. I was like, hey, by the way, I don't know why your staff is talking to me through a mask. And they're like, oh, we didn't know that you were deaf. I was like, it's written on here and I'm signing to you. Like, come on. Anyway, so, yeah, like, if somebody especially is telling you that they're deaf and write it down and you keep talking to them through your mask, what are you doing? That doesn't mean take off your mask, but it does mean, you know, get out a pen and paper or whatever, hand gesture. Don't talk to them. How does that make any sense? It's one thing if the person is trying to then use like body language and hand gestures, but when they keep talking regularly and you're just like, I don't know what's happening right now. How to recognize a strong deaf driver on the road, and there's like a van, I'm gonna guess, with all the stereos. Volume 45 right over here, the highest that it'll go. I don't have any fancy bass equipment in my car because it's a car shared with 3 people total, so including me. A popular signing impaired TikToker teaches ASL for clout, and then there's a TikTok of a cat, like just raising its paws. That's adorable. Anyways, yeah, hearing people who barely know ASL stop teaching. People still ask me to make videos like teaching signs, and I'm like, no. I recognize I did that one with Jessica, the guest video, during Vlogmas a couple years back, and since then I'm like, no. Just no. Hearing person. Wow, you don't look deaf. Me. What the f am I supposed to look like, a potato? I do look like a potato. But yeah, what's the deaf uniform? I don't understand. We still don't understand, which, by the way, if you are deaf, hard of hearing, whatever, it doesn't matter. Deaf is an umbrella term. Go with it. I had Do I Look Deaf Now merch in my shop. We got masks in there, t-shirts, other apparel, pins, stickers, things like that. So, go on, have fun. When we sign to hearing people think we are yelling all the time. This is like in retaliation to that meme made by hearing people. Like, if a person is yawning, do deaf people think they're screaming or whatever? Oh god, okay, so you know those videos about cake that look like actual objects? So I've seen phones, purses, shoes, whatever, and a person's gonna bite into them or cut into them and it turns out it's actually cake. So it started freaking everyone out during the start of quarantine. When you want to know, both of your hearing aids were made of cakes too. And then there's the photo of somebody with a knife and hearing aids that definitely don't look like real ones. I don't know. But yeah, please don't attempt that. I don't think anyone's actually attempting that, but the thought of it, oh my god, those are so expensive. There's a comment that says, my dog found out they were not. Every deaf road trip be like, and then there's the photo of like us in the very back seat and then another person like turning completely around with no seatbelt on. Yep, that's right. Put your seatbelt on. Don't be unsafe. But yep, that's right. When you move to a new town and show up at a deaf community event for the first time, and then there's local deaf people, who the f is this asshole? That feels like me. That's me every time I show up at an event or something for work. I feel like that asshole. When you see a cute hearing stranger waving at you and you wave back, but you realize someone else is standing behind you. Yeah, because typically someone will shout out to a person and then they wave. And there are times when I hear like residual hearing, there's that little yelp somewhere and I turn around and yeah, it turns out they're not actually waving at me. And there goes the love of my life that I possibly could have married. When you were on a video relay call but you were being placed on hold for a long time, and a video of Kanye West, just a photo of Kanye West, really, this is not actually happening, Kanye's not using an interpreter, but then there's in the corner the interpreter and y'all just kind of stare at each other. Yeah, when I made my first VRS call ever, I was trying to talk to my dad. I couldn't figure out how it worked and it was awkward, just kind of like staring at each other. When hearing people try to not get caught staring at you talking with your deaf friends. Oh god, yeah. My friend and I, we were at Chicago Diner, is that what it was called? And we were signing to each other and both hearing couples on either side of us would not stop staring. Like we're just trying to have a conversation and they were just full on staring like the whole time. Every time our hands were lifted, they were staring at us. Oh my god. Actually, they weren't even, I don't even think they were trying not to get caught. They were just staring. Me 5 minutes into being at a deaf party. Me in the middle. My drunk friend zooming in and hitting me? Okay, no, I am the drunk one because deaf events make me so nervous. So I would instantly go to the alcohol if there was any because I was so scared. I would be absolutely petrified because every time you find me at a deaf event, if it's people that I don't really know, then I'm convinced everyone hates me and I get scared and I'm just like, ah. And then last but not least, my absolute favorite one, and this is really what made me want to make this video. Deaf drivers are safer on the road. Also deaf drivers. And the gif of Too Fast and Furious, or one of the very beginning Fast and Furious movies, with Paul Walker staring at that woman whose name I forget, and they just stare at each other while they're driving. I love this. This is hilarious. Yes, statistically, deaf drivers are better drivers and safer drivers. I made a whole video on this on the past, and I'm likely better at you at driving. This is like why I don't want hearing people or really anyone talking to me when we're in the car if I'm the one driving. Because if you're gonna try to talk to me, like my dad will try to talk to me, or just anybody else is trying to talk to me, and then I like, really, unless you're signing and you're like leaning forward so that I can actually see you and also mainly concentrate on the road, hearing people, why do you want to talk to me while I'm trying to drive, you know? Especially here, this is like my completely deaf side. I have some residual hearing here and almost practically nothing here. So you're trying to talk to me, you know what I have to do? So that's why if hearing people actually come into my car, which is very rarely because nobody ever wants to socialize with me, don't talk to me, you're not allowed. You're gonna have to sign if you want to do that. Other than that, you're not allowed. Oh my god, that's so funny. I love that meme so much. Alright, there we go. Part 2 of meme reactions. I love that account so much. You gotta go follow it if you haven't already. I'll link it down below. Appreciate you being here. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know some of your favorites down below in the comments. If you would like to translate this video, you have until the end of September to do so. I'll have a translation link down below. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this video, and I will see you later.